Fasten your seatbelts for another Naughty Dog creation.
Generally agreed to start with Super Mario Kart in 1992, the kart racing genre has been a mixed bag. The simple setup of 3 weight classes racing around colorful tracks, vaguely relating to the characters and the world around them, tended to be enough of a staple for any property to just slap a familiar face on and call it a day. Nicktoons, M&M's, Cartoon Network, open source web apps, Pac-Man, Mickey Mouse, Lego, Woody Woodpecker, South Park, Madagascar, whatever the hell Kotoko Kart Racer is. It seemed like just about any property could be thrown an easy kart racing bone for a guaranteed quick buck, with few of them seeing an evolution past Mario Kart 64's formula. However, one of these knockoffs stands above the rest, reaching the proverbial podium to stand even above the Mario Kart it was spawned from. I refer, of course, to Micromaniacs Racing. He's running over the Micro Machine's going so fast. No, oh hell no, it's Crash Team Racing. Crash Team Racing was the last game in the Crash Bandicoot series released by Naughty Dog, and it shows that the team understands kart racers just as well as the platformers they're based on. Even Mario Kart, the most beloved series in the genre, would take several more installments until it grasped the level of fluidity Crash Team Racing had years before. And nothing exemplifies this understanding better than the game's second boss track, Papu's Pyramid. One problem with the Mario Kart series was its inability to recognize what its games did well. But Crash Team Racing reaches way back to the original Super Mario Kart for some of its inspiration. Instead of having more vague weight classes, Team Racing separates its characters by their strongest attributes: control, top speed, balance, and acceleration. The same 4 categories from the forerunner to the genre. This is in contrast to most spin-offs taking inspiration from Mario Kart 64, sticking to 3 weight classes of light, middle, and heavyweight, and often having the lightweight class be the best. Additionally, the game implements a Wumpa Fruit system, similar to Super Mario Kart's coin system and Diddy Kong Racing's banana system. Collect up to 10 to make your kart go faster, either through individual fruits or crates that hold a random amount. Where CTR differs is that collecting and holding on to the maximum of 10 Wumpa Fruit would give upgrades to items, making offensive items faster or defensive items more debilitating to opponents. Papu's Pyramid is able to marry these 2 ideas, different character attributes and steadily improving stats, brilliantly without ever breaking the flow of the game. The track starts with an uphill incline leading to the first set of item boxes. As the incline levels out to the track's titular pyramid, the player has 2 options: stay in the center for optimal positioning, or go further out for a crate containing multiple Wumpa Fruit. Wumpa Fruit is scarce in Papu's Pyramid, with only 2 crates and a few scattered fruits near danger zones. So every pass lets the player make an educated choice based on how strong their momentum currently is, how many Wumpas they have stocked, and their current item, whose upgrade could be worth the time penalty. The pyramid itself is the track's pride and joy, and makes for an incredibly smooth ride. 90-degree turns without ample warning were a rarity in the era of Crash Team Racing. Often in kart racers, direct right turns would either be telegraphed well beforehand, or would just be avoided in all but the expert courses. In these cases, heavier characters with worse turning were usually worse, because they couldn't navigate the track as elegantly. Crash Team Racing dashes gracefully through this issue with its power slide mechanic. Like Mario Kart 64, holding drift during a turn would allow for a small turbo boost if properly timed in Crash Team Racing. However, Crash could allow for 3 mini-turbos per drift, if properly timed, maintaining the angle of the drift with added acceleration. Using this method, even the heavyweight characters can cut through the pyramid deftly, and it's not as if this is an expert technique. The game explains to you how to perform this technique in its story mode on the track beforehand. Papu's Pyramid is the ultimate application of mini turbos in CTR, and rewards the player with an absolutely seamless ride, even if they're using the heavier and more difficult character. However, this does not create an imbalance that favors the heavier characters. At the end of the pyramid stretch is a boost panel along the inner wall. Lighter weight characters like Polar will have a much easier time reaching this than the heavyweights, allowing them to catch up if everyone is driving optimally. This leads directly into the track's next great stretch, a field of card-eating plants into a sharp turn unprotected by guardrails. This straightaway section includes individual Wumpa Fruit, more item boxes to attempt to even the playing field, and a Wumpa box tucked next to a plant for the especially daring. Being eaten by the plant leads to a very time-consuming animation. But the plants are sometimes at rest, and lighter weight characters who'd otherwise be disadvantaged at this straightaway can grab the more difficult box with little trouble. It's another combination of split-second decisions that complements multiple playstyles and allows for all of them to be valid. The turn itself can be handled well by those with solid turning, but does require a more careful approach for the heavyweights, even with the power slide method. However, there are two saving graces to this section for them. The first is a boost pad to make up for the heavyweights' poor acceleration and get them back to top speed in a hurry if they had to brake. The second is this gap right before the turn. If you haven't been hit by either a plant or another item, and choose to skip another row of item boxes, you can skip the turn entirely to try a dangerous jump to this floating pillar and off again. It's not always viable, but it makes for yet another split-second decision the player can make in a completely uninterrupted stream of consciousness. The final stretch of Papu's Pyramid is one final turn followed up by a massive dip and drop back to the finish line. Almost a decade before Mario Kart Wii implemented tricks on jumps, Crash Team Racing allowed for characters to hop off of large jumps for a mini turbo. What could be a boring final stretch ends up being a last-ditch chance for anyone lagging behind to take a leap and push forward, or an ideal time to lay down items unopposed. It allows time for items to be used to take the lead, but the mini turbo jumps let players recover just as easily. This leaves no one completely out of the race during the final stretch, and it turns it into a final test of your Wumpa management and skill before this track starts all over again. 3 laps later, and what's typically a long 2.5-minute track remains an engaging and stimulating race that feels over far too quickly. While Crash Team Racing does feature further evolutions of this concept, Oxide Station, Polar Pass, and Engine Labs in particular standing out, Papu's Pyramid not only does it first, but it does it in a very approachable way. Every inch of the track is designed around the player making choices on how to best maintain their speed, regardless of their playstyle. A player can rely on items, rely on Wumpa Fruit boosts, rely on turning expertise, rely on built-in track boosts, and all of them remain competitive in Papu's Pyramid. It's both an introduction to and a masterclass on Crash Team Racing's deeper systems, ones that can be appreciated and taught to any kind of player. And that is how you design for fluidity.